Looking good.
It's carpet.
Carpet, right? Isn't that cool? I know. Jump.
You know what this reminds
Jump.
me of? What?
Ah, it's cool, right? Get a little grip.
When I used to do martial arts performances, we'd lay carpet across the stage, and that's what this reminds me of right now.
Oh, yeah, I never did martial arts
It's
performance.
easier on the joints.
Oh yeah, cool. Of course, that makes sense.
So when you're rocking out, you know, it's like, oh.
Yeah, that's what's great about it. I love
Awesome.
jumping.
Okay.
But no, so what do you do at the martial arts performances?
It's just a showcase of skill sets, so it's a bunch of the students, and we kind of go when we do our jumps and our flips and our forms. And
It'd be funny if they brought out someone who looked like Jared, and then you got to do your Jared move.
I mean, they have done that, but not Jared specifically, just sometimes it's like, okay, get the biggest, whitest guy you can find, and then one of our just demonstrations is beating him up.
Well, it was a proud moment that I got to be there when you did that in real life.
Yeah.
Osric Chau in the house. Enjoy!
Ah, Rob. I love that guy. Wow, this is so cool. And so echoey. Wow, you can really hear myself. Okay, let's open up the floor. Hi, how are you? Hi.
This is in no way a euphemism, and it's a very serious question. Which part of the muffin do you like the best, the top part or the bottom part?
See, I grew up worshiping the top part. You know, you want the muffin top. That's where all the sweetness is. But the older I've gotten, the more I notice that a muffin, if you eat too many muffin tops, you get your own. And so, in me still wanting muffins, I've started enjoying the bottom part. Also, when I was younger, I don't know why, but I made it a thing to eat the wrappers. It was my thing. So like, whenever there was like an ice cream sandwich, I would eat the paper around it too. I'd have these like Chinese buns, and there would always be that wax paper, and I always made a point to eat it. And it was, like, I think it was grade 4 and grade 5, that was my thing. You know, we all have our things. That was my thing. I was the paper eater. So for that reason, I still enjoyed the bottom, because it was my thing. Muffins. I don't do that anymore. I don't think it's good for your digestion. Hi.
Hi, I was just wondering, what was your favorite part about working on the Shake It Off parody?
I think it was just watching it all come together. I mean, just from the inception of the idea to releasing it, and just how everything just kind of worked perfectly in terms of my schedule, getting all the other guys involved. We shot in Vegas, we shot in Oregon, and it was just such a wild adventure throughout. Like usually when you're on a big TV or movie production, you don't really have to worry about anything. But shooting on any type of independent film, it was, you know, you kind of always have to compromise and figure things out on the fly. So with the Hollywood show, this was the second project I did with them. I did The Walking Dead with them, and actually one of my favorite moments was shooting The Walking Dead. We needed a horse the next day, and we had a horse, but the horse got sick, and so the person like, oh, you know, we can't do the scene anymore with the horse because our horse is sick. And so for the day before, we needed a horse at 7:30 a.m. the next day, and it's already nighttime, and we're freaking out, and we're in Georgia at this time, and we were at dinner at this restaurant, and so I go up to the manager, and I ask the manager, I'm like, hey, I'm loving dinner right now. By the way, do you happen to have any horses, or do you know anyone with horses that we could use tomorrow morning for this web video that we're doing? And she's like, yeah, I think I do. And she just called up like 2 of her friends, and the next morning we had 3 horses. And it was awesome, and we all took joyrides and stuff, and the people were super gracious about it. But it's these kinds of adventures that we really get. And so for Supernatural parody, one of the moments, I think my favorite moments was shooting in Oregon. We were staying in this cabin in the middle of nowhere. It was like a little hotel. And it was a Wednesday night and they played reggae music until 2 a.m. And it was a weird lodge kind of thing, so in the morning when I got out, there was like this guy that was from the party was just sleeping in the hallway. And then I'd go down, there's a couple other people sleeping on the floor because, I don't know, that's just how it happens. And then you get down into the lobby area and this deer comes in. And he's got like this little handkerchief neck tied on to him before. And he just starts like chewing on the breakfast beans. And then the inn lady is just like, "Ah, sugar Bob." And then they like just like usher the deer out. It was such a surreal moment, but it's those kinds of things that I really enjoy. So I think that was a highlight. And Sugar Bob just happens to be like their pet deer. They like saved him and he just kind of hangs around the lodge. Yeah. You get to experience those really quirky places when you're shooting on locations in the middle of nowhere, so that was definitely one of the highlights.
Sugar Bob.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
I know you sometimes like to cosplay when you dress up when you come here.
Yeah, I got one for tomorrow, so they'll be fun. I got it in the mail this morning, so I didn't want to rush it just in case. We have to test it and everything, so.
I wanted to know what's your favorite character that you dressed up as?
Favorite for what reason? Be a little more specific. You can have so many favorite things.
The one that you enjoy dressing up as.
Okay, all right, I'll take that. That's all right. I asked a loaded question there. I will say the one I enjoyed, like pure enjoyment, it was probably Ariel at the beginning of this year. So many things just worked out so wonderfully. I mean, one, I was so nervous about it because, it was the first one this year, and I hadn't done it in a while, and I just like the idea of having, fake legs. I'm like, oh, it looks like I'm doing something, but I'm not. Just that idea. I had a hoop skirt that was a rock, and I had my fish legs, or my tail. And that was the only idea that I really liked. And then going into the new year, because it's been a few months since we'd done a convention, I hadn't cosplayed for a while. I had so much anxiety going up. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? And you start questioning yourself. And at some point, I'm just like, all right, this is happening, I'm doing it. And then so many things just worked out. I was doing a panel with Gil, and he was Prince Eric. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. And so I had my cosplayer Izza, she had like a Prince Eric robe, and I just put that in my tail. And my handler, Charlie at the time, he had a great idea of because I'm sitting on a rock, so technically I'm not walking, I'm just a floating rock. So instead of floating up on stage, it was at a hotel and they got one of those belt carts and he just pushed me onto stage. I made so many beautiful moments, and then he wheeled me off too. That was great. Oh, and the band got involved, because I gave them a heads up, and they're like, oh, we should totally play a Little Mermaid song, and so they busted out Under the Sea. There was just so many moments of that was just so much fun, and then the photo ops were just a lot of fun, because, people were carrying me, but I was still standing. This is just a lot of fun about that. So I'd say Ariel. Also, it was probably one of the few costumes that my friends and family outside, who know nothing about Supernatural and these conventions, they came up and they called me or messaged me or emailed me saying, hey, I saw this photo online. And so that was one of the costumes that did that. So it led to a lot of interesting conversations. They thought it was Photoshopped. Nope. So yeah, Ariel. What was your favorite that I've done?
That you've done?
Yeah, that you've seen.
I liked Princess Bubblegum.
Yeah, that's a good choice. There was a lot more stress involved with that one. But yes. Well, thank you. Hi.
Hi, Osric. Okay, so obviously you're a really big fan of cosplay and just dressing up in general, so I want to know what you're going to be for Halloween this year.
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? Cosplaying for me started off in Halloween, but because I do it so much, I don't know. I haven't even thought that far. I think usually for Halloween is the one thing I don't plan, but my closet is in such a state that I can just pull something out. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really planned. Usually for Halloween, I'll try to do something more like weird or clever. Let's see, what did I do last year? I don't think I even celebrated Halloween last year. Last year I just gave out candy at home. So I just bought a bunch of candy and handed it out to the kids. The year before I was Tony the Tiger. I just had a tiger onesie and a box of Frosted Flakes. I don't know. I do not plan for Halloween, but we'll see. Yeah, I'll think about that one. I should go back to my roots, dressing up for Halloween. But giving out candy is quite nice.
You can do both! Do it!
I can dress up and give out candy.
Woo!
Yeah, maybe. Hi.
Hi, Osric. If you could act any role, what role would it be?
If I could act any role, oof, that's a good question. Probably one that I don't know. Oh, you know what? Oh, right now? Osric Chau as the new Hulk. So I don't know if you guys know, but Osric Chau, which is, he's the character that succeeds Bruce Banner in the Hulk. So we have a new Hulk, and he's an Asian guy. And that, when I found out, it blew my mind. So currently on the wish list is Osric Chau for the Hulk. I'm good on Marvel for diversifying. I mean, I've always wanted to be a superhero, but like the Hulk was one that I'm like, that's just weird, it wouldn't happen. But now it could happen, it's such a possibility. And even if it's not me, just the fact that it's Osric Chau is pretty incredible. Osric Chau. He actually wants to be Hulk. That's so cool. You know, he's the 7th smartest person in the Marvel Universe. He's young. He wants to be Hulk, so it'll be interesting to see the types of stories.
Hulk for Halloween!
Hulk for Halloween. I've seen some really good Hulk costumes, and if I do it, I have to at least be that good. I've also seen some very terrible Hulk costumes, and it makes me not want to try the Hulk again. Also, I did it once, and it was just really great. Hi.
Hi. I was just wondering, since like Kevin is so different from you, what do you think his reaction would be if he ever met you?
Okay, depends. It depends on where we meet. Did we meet like in a bar, on Grindr? No. No. Really depends where we meet. So that was where does like in study hall, library, or?
I guess a library, because that's normal Kevin, and yeah. In context, I guess you were in cosplay or something.
Do you think Kevin cosplays? Do you think Kevin would cosplay?
Maybe. I don't know. He's really different.
He is very different. I think I would probably meet him in a game first. He's a gamer. Oh my god, don't get me started on World of Warcraft. That game stole 2 years of my life. You know, I don't think I ever met anyone in real life in World of Warcraft. You know, way back before Facebook, I played World of Warcraft, and we'd have like forums, like our guild forums, and we'd talk about meeting, and that, you know, we'd post pictures of ourselves on the board. So weird, thinking back. How would Kevin react? I don't know, I think it'd be really awkward. I mean, one, he'd look like me. Or I'd look like him, I don't know. What would I say to Kevin? I don't know. I think because we probably don't know each other or our stories, we'd probably just get to know each other, and you know, hopefully he's not as bitter and angry as he seems. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting question. I think it depends. Is this me watching him on the show, then meeting him? Is it us just meeting randomly? Meeting randomly, then I think we'd get along. You know, we have a lot of similar interests. I love the season, sorry. A lot of the same games. You know, we talk about our relationships, and he'd tell me about his dysfunctional family, and you know, I think we would get along. Yeah, thank you.
Hi.
Hey.
I was wondering, what led you to audition for Supernatural?
What led me to audition? Well, okay, so I'm an actor, and it's a very misunderstood career path. So essentially, when I actually work, when you're on set, you already know you can do the job, right? You've already been through the paces, you know the character really well, you already know your lines, you come prepared. The actual work is very little. Most of the time we're just waiting around, and that can be tiring at times, so you'll have a lot of actors say, you know, my job is waiting. But for me, my job is getting the job. That's where I put the time into it. You know, you're investing in classes, you're investing in headshots, you're investing in the time that it takes to build those relationships with your agent, the casting directors, and just productions in general, producers, directors. And so that's the actual job. And so in auditioning for it, that's part of my job. So for Supernatural specifically, it was the only job that I actually had a dollar figure to go with an audition. So usually you go to an audition, it's time. It's like, okay, I have to miss work, I have to miss the shift, so you know that's gonna be like 60 bucks or 80 bucks that I'm giving up for this audition, right? So you have a number figure for it. For me, I was kind of traveling around and I had to change my flight. I'm like, okay, I have to change this flight a day later so that I can make this audition. That change of flight was 600 bucks. And so this audition was a $600 audition, which freaked me out because I never really quantified how much an audition was worth before that. But because, you know, I'm fairly thrifty and it freaked me out, I really practiced on that audition. And so I just did all my homework. I ran the script like 100 times to the point where, you know, you could throw it at me any time and I would just, you know, I could do it just like that. So yeah, I auditioned it for it because it was an opportunity. It was a director-producer session, which means that Ben Edlund and Jim Michaels were both in the room. I didn't know them at the time, but that's why I made the $600 investment to change my plane ticket there. And essentially, that $600 got me the opportunity to be in the room. And even if I didn't get it, it was a risk that I took and I got rewarded for it. So I could have taken the risk and easily not have gotten the job, but I really made sure that I did get it. Yeah, you kind of have to weigh things. I was actually going to LA for another job. It was for a J.J. Abrams pilot. And so I did the Supernatural audition, went to LA, did the J.J. Abrams audition. On Saturday, I got both roles. On Sunday, they told me I could only do one because of scheduling. On Monday, I told them I would do the J.J. Abrams pilot. And after that, they told me I had a horseshoe up my ass because the J.J. Abrams pilot and Supernatural had the same person like doing the scheduling. They're like, we don't want to lose an actor, so we'll make it work out. That pilot didn't end up happening, and I mean, Supernatural turned into this, so. Yeah. Why did I audition? Because, I mean, this was never on the radar, but you know, you're an actor, you're a performer, you're just looking for creative outlets in whatever way, shape, or form. Sometimes you get to choose, sometimes, most of the time you don't. So at the beginning, you just do your best to build contacts, build experience, and essentially it was like going through school for performing arts, I guess. Hey.
I was wondering if you had the opportunity to play any other character besides Kevin on the show. Any character at all, who would you pick? Monster or?
I wonder how many people in this audience know that. Yeah, Crowley. Crowley's just such a fun character. You know, there's so many layers. I mean, like, yeah, Sam, Dean, they're great characters. But Crowley, you know, I don't know, he's just so full of depth. You know, he gets to be evil and good, and he gets all the best lines, you know? Seriously, he gets all the great one-liners. And kind of, I mean, Dean does too, but I think Crowley is more of a smartass about it, so it's just more fun. Yeah, Crowley. You're welcome. Hi.
So obviously you do martial arts. Has there ever been a time outside of acting or competitions where that's been handy?
Oh man, yeah, when I wrestled with Jared. You know, it's a big part of my life. You know, prior to being an actor, a martial artist was my identity. That was my entire life. You know, I did nothing but martial arts for a good portion of it, and the reason why I'm acting at all is because my first job they gave me because I could do my own stunts. So they were looking for an actor that, it was a non-union shoot, so they needed an actor that was Chinese, that could speak English, that could do their own stunts, that didn't need to be pampered because they couldn't, because it was shooting in a rural city in China, and they just didn't have stuff like running water or hotels and stuff. So they needed someone that could rough it, and I just came back training martial arts in China, and I showed my agents like this little clip that I did for martial arts, and they like got super excited, and so they pushed me as an actor that could do martial arts, and I pushed myself as a martial artist that could maybe act, and it just worked out. So I mean, martial arts is the reason why I'm up on this stage. I'm a very physical actor. Anytime I get the chance or opportunity to do a stunt, I certainly jump at it as long as they let me. And yeah, I don't know. Does it help? I think just in the habits. You know, it was just like homework. In elementary school, grades don't necessarily mean anything because no one looks at them until grade 10, 11. But if you don't build those habits up during those years, which I never did, by the time you're grade 10 and 11, when you actually need to, you don't know how to study. Or you say it's like, okay, this is the year that matters, and you're trying to work the system, but I know it's hard to get your body into the habit of doing things if you haven't really built up that. And so with martial arts, what it really taught me was the whole no pain, no gain mentality. And when I used to train, it was, even looking back, I can't believe that I did it. I was training 8 hours a day at the peak, every single day. And I remember taking my first day off, and my body felt pretty good. And then the day after that, it just shut down, and I couldn't move. And I realized that my body was in a constant state of soreness that I just didn't realize how bad it was. And then I waited a couple of months. I mean, I still trained, just not as hard. And after a couple of months, like I just improved like no other, just after my body recovered. So yeah, I think it's given me a good work ethic, if anything. You're welcome.
Hi, my name's Jasmine, and I was wondering if Kevin were to come back, how would you want him to come back?
Hi, Jasmine. If Kevin were to come back, angel or demon? Or maybe he stays as a ghost. I mean, if he comes back, I just want him to be, you know, give him a purpose, make him useful. I don't want him just being there for emotional support. You know, it's like, yeah, there. I want to do that. I mean, speaking of martial arts, I would love to do some fighting scenes. Do ghosts need to fight? Probably not. Maybe? Yeah? Okay, well, I mean, it's supernatural. They can figure it out, right? So, yeah, if Kevin came back, I'd love it to mean something. Because otherwise it would just feel weird, and I'd rather not. Because I know, I really liked Kevin's arc. You know, it was really a hero's journey. You know, he came from a normal kid, student, and you know, he went off on this track and he sacrificed and he did all these things, and then he died, made the ultimate sacrifice. So it's kind of a really complete, I mean, it kind of sucked at the end, but it's still really complete minus a happy ending. So I don't know. That's a tough one. If he came back, I would love it for it to be a purpose, and maybe a better closure episode than the last one. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mac. My question for you is, out of all the episodes you've shot as Kevin, which one was your favorite to do?
Still the first one. Reading is Fundamental, Season 7, Episode 21. That was the only episode I got to do any stunts on. And so there was the running away from Sam, which was so much fun to shoot. Jared had his first baby that same episode, and so that was also surreal because at the end of the run we did a little scene and then he got a call. It's like, oh, Jed's in labor, and so he keeps running off to the baby. So that was a little bit surreal. And then the lightning, gets struck by lightning in that first scene. They kind of had me up on a harness and it was super uncomfortable and hard to breathe for like 3-4 hours. But it was great because I thrive on that kind of stuff. So reading is fundamental is definitely the most fun. It was also a big learning curve getting to know everyone. Just seeing how. To be honest, if I look at that episode, I'm not very happy with my performance because that's where I learned how the editing and the pacing was, and they didn't really give me a good idea. So a lot of how I performed, I kind of imagined longer edits, but they kind of really chopped it up, and so it really felt weird for me to watch because I know what my intentions were and how it came out. So a lot definitely from that episode, but it's still, I look back at that one with the most fondest memories, I think.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hi, I'm Lily. And,
Hi, Lily.
First of all, I love you. And my question is, do you have any really funny stories about being recognized in public?
Yeah, okay, so I was in Montreal last week, or yesterday, and on the subway, I took the subway and I was playing Super Smash Brothers on my 3DS, and by the way, I brought it because I need those Smash points, so if you have it, put it, okay, anyways. And so I was playing, and this guy comes up to me, he's like, all in French, he's like, hey, tu le prophète sur Supernatural? I'm like, oh yeah, I am. And so we start talking, and he asked for a photo. But he's like, I didn't bring my camera, I don't have it. Can I take a photo with your phone? I'm like, sure. I'm like, okay, sure. Took a photo with my phone. And then he proceeds like, okay, hold on, can I go on your Twitter and tweet it? It's like, I don't have a Twitter, but can I tweet it out? I'm like, you don't have a Twitter? Anyways, that lasted maybe like 20 minutes until I got to my stop. It was a really awkward conversation. I probably would have tweeted it to him if he had a Twitter account, but he didn't. And I didn't feel right giving him my phone to tweet out things. Nice kid though, he was 18, going to school. It was just, I don't know. Not that many weird interactions, I would say. A lot of people think they kind of recognize me. And that's one thing that I don't usually like to do. If people are like, you look familiar, usually I'll be like, did we go to school together or something? Because and not because I want to be rude or anything, because it's just, there's nothing worse than, like, oh, you must know me from, I was on that Supernatural show, and they're like, no. Right, then I'm going through my resume, I'm like, hold on, was it this Halo thing? They're like, nah. I'm like, oh, I also did that movie 2002. I did that once. Actually, that's probably the weirdest one. I went through like 7 different things that I'd done, and every time I was like, no, like, I don't know what it is. I'm like, this is just awkward. So, those are probably the worst ones, but I don't know. Did they really recognize me? Like, maybe I met you in a bar. Who knows? Yeah, those ones are weird. So I don't like to tell people who I am if they don't know. I'm like, my name is Osric. I'm from Vancouver. I'll tell them the normal stuff. But apart from that, it gets really weird. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Okay, what's your weirdest encounter with a celebrity in how you were?
Lucky enough.
Oh.
Really,
sorry.
I don't know.
You're pretty cool. Okay, so if you approach someone, you at least know who they are. Maybe? Okay. You don't have to. Actually, that's one complaint I have about Vancouver, is that it's really hard to approach people. Some cities that I go to, you can just strike up a random conversation with the person you're just standing next to or sitting beside, and that's kind of nice. So maybe you shouldn't need to know the person, as long as you try not to recognize them from something you don't know. Yeah, like how many people here have started random conversations with the people they don't know beside them? Okay, see, that's nice. That's one thing I really like about these conventions, that people get to talking, get to know each other. So, this reminds me of school. All right, everyone take a moment to shake the person beside them, both sides. Shake hands, say hi.
I know you guys already.
This reminds me of summer camp. I love this. Okay. Thank you. Hi.
If you could talk to Kevin at the beginning of his journey on the show, what advice would you give him?
Oh, man. That's a tough one, actually. What advice could you give Kevin? Run, just run. Oh, I mean, that's tough because he wants to save the world. I'll be like, okay. I mean, you'd have to be rational with him. I'm like, Kevin, I've seen your future. It sucks. Like, yes, what you're trying to do is great, but in the end, it's not going to matter anyways. Because, I know, it kind of sucks. And then he'll tell me it's like, but I have to try. That's just going to be a really sad conversation.
Just don't leave the boat.
And then at some point I'll be like, yeah, you'll probably, like, even knowing the end result, you have to try because, man, this is like the hero-villain kind of thing. You know, it's like, okay, even if Kevin knows that it amounts to nothing, he still has to try because if he does nothing, then he knows what he's doing is not right, you know, just through ignorance. Man, I think that's a tough place to be. Maybe I can tell him, okay, at some point Sam's gonna talk to you, real nice. It's not Sam. Okay, you gotta be very specific. When Dean's trying to hide that secret from you, Sam's being possessed. There you go. That would do it, right? That would probably do it.
Thank you.
Okay, there you go. That makes more sense.
Hi, I'm Abby, and I was just wanting to know, what was your first day on set like?
My first day on set was the running scene, and Jared being super nice and nervous that he was going to be a dad. Yeah, it was an awesome day. It was, you know, everyone was, and actually that's really interesting. My first day and my last day were like polar opposites. The first day everyone was really nice. You know, there wasn't like any big pranks or anything. It was just really nice. And then it got into the craziness, and you can see everyone's personality come out. Jared starting being mean to everyone again, and you know, like the B camera crew I've never seen camera crew so naked so often. I don't know. There's just so many things that they did. I mean, not naked, but like all these weird gags, like literally like gags and leather outfits and short shorts and all these things you just don't expect from a film crew. And then the last day was like the polar opposite, where it was just like quiet and subdued. So I don't know. It was the first day was definitely probably my favorite day on the shoot. It was just getting to know everybody. And I know it was hard to recreate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I was wondering if you had like a favorite line that Kevin said or anybody else on the show?
Kevin's had a lot of great lines that I quite like. One is when he says to his girlfriend, Channing, you're going to your safety school. Oh, and there's a demon in you? I think that just like lays out his priorities at that point in life so clearly. You know, the world's crashing around him, and he's just so like, I don't know, driven for school that that's the first thing that comes out. But that's the thing I really like about Kevin, is how his priorities change with everything, and so it starts with that moment. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Welcome. And the last one.
Sup?
Do you know, if Richard was hosting, he'd be on stage by now. Just okay. Anyways, I'm just making fun of that. I wonder if he's here. He hears that. Okay, hi.
If Kevin hadn't had died, do you think he would have left Dean and Sam by now? Just like, I'm legit through with you two, you're insane. I'm going home.
If he had died when?
Had not had died.
Had not had died. Would that is Would he have? I don't think so. I mean, he tried it once. Hey, Rob. Did you hear my remark about tardiness and punctuality? Okay, that's fine. Would Kevin run off? No, I don't think so. I think by that time, his, just loyalty and the friendship that he's developed with them, like, yeah, they're crazy, but we all have crazy friends who do things that you don't necessarily agree with all the time, and you try your best to reason with them, but at the end of the day, you know their heart's in the right place, and you hash things out, you work it out. So I don't think Kevin would abandon them, no matter how crazy. He might lock himself in his room, but I think that's about it.
Thank you.
Can I just say, like, just watching the videos that people, I've seen a couple, Osric-centric videos, people have made, you have aged so much. You were a little boy when you started Supernatural.
That was like 3 years ago.
Well, when you're an old guy like me, no, but you have to admit, you look.
I cut my hair and I grew out a beard a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think you could grow facial hair when I met you.
I could, it just took really, really long.
You're just a little Aussie to me.
Yeah.
No, that was never true.
That was a long time ago.
But it was a long time ago.
It does feel like a long time.
Yeah, I mean, same with Jared. I mean, the early, like season one Jared is like...
Wow. I was older than him then. Well, actually, yeah, he's only 4 years older than me. So, of course I was.
You lost me in the math. I'm not so good with math. Can I ask another question? When are you going to come over and get the stuff that I've had ever since we ran that race together?
Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Rob has had my dirty laundry for how long?
I don't know if you know, we ran a Tough Mudder race with Jensen and Jared and Richard and Osric and Jason Mans and myself. And he was like, hey man, will you just take this back from me? So I have this bag.
No, Jared sent it to me. Jared sent it to me.
It's still dirty. In a box. I opened the box, I was like, oh!
It's covered in mud!
Yeah.
Tough Mudder.
Shoes, jersey.
That was in April?
Still, I washed it. I washed it for you, buddy.
I know, thank you, Rob.
But it's, thank you.
He's the sweetest guy, honestly.
But it's in my garage, whenever you need it.
Okay, I mean, those are good shoes. I want, they're tough shoes.
They are tough shoes.
Tough Mudder shoes.
Yeah.
And we're gonna need them, because we're
doing it again?
We're gonna do it again.
All right, well, Master Chau.
Thank you, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, Osric Chau.